My name is Eddie Manfro, and I'm honored to serve as the city manager for the City of Fullerton. I do want to thank you all for joining us today for the 2026 State of the City Address. I will be your Masters of Ceremonies this afternoon, and I do want to thank you all for your support for the great City of Fullerton. Thank you all for being here. Before we begin, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to our platinum sponsor, California State University Fullerton, for their generous support of today's event. Thank you. I would also like to thank all of our other sponsors whose contributions helped make this event possible. Your support and commitment to Fullerton are deeply appreciated. Thank you to our sponsors. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Gary Parkinson of the Summit House Restaurant and a dedicated supporter of our community. Gary has been a valued business leader in Fullerton for many years, and we are grateful for his partnership again. Please join me in welcoming Gary Parkinson, who will now provide the welcoming remarks.
Well, good. The one problem with living in the middle of a park is the allergies. So I'll be clearing my throat a few times as we go through this. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the City of Fullerton 2026 State of the City event. Again, my name is Gary Parkinson, and on behalf of the Summit House Restaurant, all the Summit House family, we are honored to have all of you here and so many people that care about the future of Fullerton. As an independent business person and an independent business in the city of Fullerton and a tenant of the city, I'd like to share with you our Summit House story. Many of you haven't heard it. Some of you probably were just born when we started this whole thing. And I also, along with the theme of the day, I would like to share. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I'd like to share some of the adversity that we've overcome in the last 35 years. The adversity seems to be the theme of where we're going today. So, another minor detail, I can't see the screen. So if I'm talking about something and that screen looks like, I don't know what you're talking about, somebody wave to me, okay? Okay, our story begins in the Summit House story. Our story begins with Lloyd McDonald and I entered into a business partnership January 1st, 1984 with the original Catch Restaurant. Some of you may remember it, some of you may not. After a few years, we gained a lot of success and we were looking for a new location. And we got an RFP from the City of Fullerton for this location. And we entered into lease negotiations in 1987. So we wanted a concept that would be timeless. In the 1950s, Lloyd, when he was a young man, frequented the Hurley Bell restaurant. I bet you no one remembers the Hurley Bell restaurant. The Hurley Bell restaurant was on PCH. Started in 1938. In the 60s, it was purchased by Five Crowns Restaurant. Now, Five Crowns was one of my wife and I favorite restaurants. In fact, we had our wedding reception there. So we have ties to the Five Crowns. I also worked 8 years with the Charlie Brown's restaurants. And Charlie Brown's, interesting, same theme, country English, prime rib, prime steaks. The interior design was country English. Basically, it's a Charlie Brown's on steroids if you look out there. It's all pretty dolled up. It's with exhibition kitchen, high vaulted ceilings, country English decor. Basically the Five Crowns with big windows. So So. So we negotiated with the city for 2 years with this lease. And toward the end, we brought the concept. This is our first adversity we dealt with. We came to the RDRC with our concept and plans, and we were rejected. Then went to the Planning Commission, and we were rejected. This is after 2 years. So Bill Winter, who was the was the city manager at the time, gave us a little clue. He says, all you have to do is count to 3. I remember Dick Ackerman being in that meeting, and Dick Ackerman looking around at city council and said, why don't you just let them do their business the way they want to do it? Dick's here. Where is he? Yeah. Old friend of, if you notice in the picture, how many of you know who these people are? Okay. It's Dick Ackerman, me, Bill Winter, and Buck Catlin. Old memories. Construction commenced in July of 1990. It was interesting. We started with the giant fireplace that's in the middle of the building, and it reminded me of Walt Disney when he built Disneyland. First, he built the Magic Castle, and then he built roads to it, because he said wanted everybody to know what it was going to be. Friday night before we opened, we did a fundraiser for the Siglos Foundation. Some of you may not remember who that was. They were actually the predecessor to the St. Jude Foundation. We had 475 people. We'd never been open, right? 475 people, prime rib, cream corn, popovers, cream spinach. It was quite an event. Just a little, I keep getting the pointer. As a sidelight, 10 years later, we started that fundraiser all over again, and we have done it every year ever since. At this point, we've underwritten almost $2.5 million of donations to St. Jude. So, the second adversity, and the second adversity was pretty big. The Great Recession of 2007 wasn't kind to restaurants. We did something interesting. Instead of cutting back on staffing and cutting back on portions and everything that other restaurants did, we decided we're going to be counterintuitive and invest in the restaurant. So we actually invested, and we remodeled the guest bathrooms. We added a tavern patio addition, the bridal room addition, all this flooring, imported European oak flooring. We did all of this in the middle of the recession. Like I said, I can't see it. Okay, in 2010, now in 2010 we had another challenge. The landscape was falling apart. Landscape looked terrible. The gazebo didn't look good. We were not controlling the reservations for the wedding receptions. So we got together with the city and created an administrative agreement in which we would control the landscape. We would handle all the reservations in the gazebo. We would pay the city a fixed fee. It was a win-win. The city got more money. We got control. With that, we remodeled the gazebo, remodeled the landscape, built the pre-function patio that you see out here, and all those park lights we added. Now the next challenge that we met was COVID. Okay. COVID, March 17th, 2020, all of a sudden we had to close. No cash flow whatsoever. This is when we really surged into a sense of urgency. In 3 days, we had to produce a to-go program. We had to take that experience and put it in this. And we did that in 3 days. We had to get a program started. We applied for a PPP application from a bank in Brea, which I won't name. They totally fumbled the application. On 4/7, we moved our entire banking relationship in 1 day over to Farmers and Merchants Bank in Fullerton. They filed the PPP application on 4/7. We were funded on 4/24. That sense of urgency. We placed 65 of our key staff on full pay, including their tips that they were getting before, so we'd be ready to reopen. Okay, a few other things we did. Some of you may remember this, Happy Hour on the Hill. Did anybody ever come to Happy Hour on the Hill? See, we wanted to stay relevant, so we could only do to-go food, so we did to-go food to the park. So everybody had to bring their own chair, bring their own table, and they bought happy hour stuff from us. We did this for months. We'd have 200 to 300 people here. We still have people ask us when we're going to do this again. And on April 1st, 2021, we started construction of an additional patio, extension to our Queens patio. If you can see it out here. We completed it in 45 days. Then we hit the post-pandemic, and we ended up with a new challenge. The new challenge was, where do we find people? Where do we find kitchen staff? How do we find them? How do we retain them? So all of our previous capital improvements had been in the public areas. We decided we're going to do an expansion on the kitchen, upgrade the kitchen to improve the work environment for our people. We commenced construction in February of 2025. We completed it in October. We invested $950,000 just in that, so that we could have good kitchen staff. And what's the last piece of keeping kitchen staff is great leadership. Tim Plum has been with us for 28 years as executive chef. He's the heart and soul of our back of the house. He was previously at the Surf and Sand, which all of you know, 6 years as chef owner of Mon Chateau. Again, he's been with us 28 years. On April 12th, 2025, we had a general meeting and celebrated Chef Tim's 28 years of being the heart and soul of this business. We had a general meeting of all the staff, and we did a naming ceremony. And if you go out and look out front now, it's called the Tim Plum, Executive Chef Tim Plum Exhibition Kitchen. Our last challenge, as the story continues, our last challenge was we have a second generation of leadership here, and we only had 15 years left on the lease, which was going to be a real challenge. And through the efforts of the city and the city manager at the time, who I promised I wouldn't give him a shout out with his name, but he's here. So everybody knows who he is, but I'm not going to say his name. But we actually put that together, and we signed on January 6, 2026. We added 2 10-year options to our lease. So we will be here until October 2061. Okay, my presentation is finished. I want to thank you all for being here today and for your longstanding support. Most of you, all of you, your longstanding support of the Summit House and your longstanding support of the City of Fullerton and the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Parkinson. I truly appreciate your story of perseverance, and I am so happy that you brought this crown jewel to the City of Fullerton, and thank you for your investment in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up again for Mr. Parkinson. Okay, at this time, if you are able, I'd like you to please rise for the presentation of colors by the Fullerton Police Department Honor Guard and the flag salute led by Fullerton Fire Chief Adam Lozier.
Please place your right hand over your heart and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, on. Right, face. Forward, mark. Left. 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 Left.
You may now be seated. Thank you to the Fullerton Police Department Honor Guard and our Fire Chief Adam Lozier for helping us begin today's program. Our first guest speaker is Dr. Edward Kim, Physician-in-Chief at the City of Hope, Orange County, and Vice Physician-in-Chief of City of Hope National Medical Center, a nationally recognized oncology leader and U.S. News and World Report top doctor. Dr. Kim is internationally known for his work advancing personalized cancer therapies and has authored more than 200 scientific publications. Through his leadership, City of Hope continues to expand innovative cancer care and research opportunities throughout Orange County. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Edward Kim.
Well, what an honor it is to be invited here, to stand before you all. Mayor Jung, he reached out and I told my assistant, clear the calendar, I got to get up here and meet these people in Fullerton. So it's really my honor to be here. I think it's a fitting time because June is actually National Cancer Survivors Month. So for those of you who are surviving cancer, congratulations. And Gary, I'm glad you walked back in because I don't want to leave you out either. We have recruited some of our best doctors in that dining room out there. So it's also an important part of what we do too. So yeah, we enjoy the community so much here. Thank you. There's going to be stuff on the slides. You can read about it. I'm going to show you, what we've been doing if you haven't been down into the Great Park, Irvine area. But we came to Orange County, and I've been now at City of Hope almost 6 years. I was in North Carolina before this, and Texas before that, and grew up in the Midwest. So that's my story. But I know being up here in Fullerton, and we always see you guys' baseball team nationally show up, so that's how we know that exists. You have to be proud being up here. I always wonder, where's this Cal State Fullerton team coming from? Who is that? And so it's all these California teams that are always there. But I really want to just share some thoughts today, some information, and why we're here to help and be part of the community. It's really distressing. I never thought I would actually go into oncology when I was going through medical school and such. I thought cancer is such a depressing field. Why would you want to go in something like that? Why not orthopedics, where you can get people up and going again, or, maybe OBGYN, where you get to deliver babies and everybody's happy about that. But, this became a calling after I witnessed patients in the hospital going through cancer. And it's something that more than 2 million people in our country are going to hear. In fact, you can turn to your right, turn to your left. Somebody is going to be diagnosed with cancer. It's almost 1 in 2, 1 in 3 people. And that's occurring over your lifetime. And so that resonated with me. And part of what City of Hope does is we've not just become that place in the desert from the 1900s, where we were actually a TB sort of hospital. Sam Golter in the early 1900s saw the people in LA who were getting afflicted with tuberculosis, and they had no place to go. People were like, get out, we can't have you here infecting other folks. So those people were welcomed by Sam, and he bought a bunch of desert out in Duarte at pennies on the dollar, and didn't have enough money to do anything other than put 2 tents up. So there were 2 tents, and he said, come, we will take care of you. Bring your families. We will try to care for you if you have to pass. We'll do it with dignity. If we can heal you, we're going to heal you not only physically, mentally, but spiritually. And he wanted to get people back into the workforce. This was a businessman from LA. And over time, he became very frustrated. He wanted to help people more, so they started doing research and trying experimental things because TB was just not going away. And people always ask us how we got our name. Well, we didn't hire a big fancy advertising firm to find this name. People realized that there was a city of hope where they could go to when they were afflicted. And that's the origin story that we have. In the 1950s, when antibiotics were finally coming in and TB was becoming eradicated, we had a young architect, young man who designed the first building that was going to be, almost 30 years later. But he died before ever seeing that go up, and he died of leukemia. So that's the transition to blood cancers, and why now we are so well known around the world of doing bone marrow transplants, doing cellular therapies, and being pioneering. Gary mentioned that the pandemic was tough for everybody. One of the uniquenesses of what we have, not only with our geographic representation across Southern California, we have over 30 sites now with 2 campuses, one in Duarte, one in Irvine, but is now that we also manufacture drugs. For any of you who ever knew about insulin, for instance, I wish it was actually my favorite song that was playing, not that one. So it's like the alarm that wakes you up in the morning. If anybody has heard drugs, synthetic insulin. Synthetic insulin was invented just 25 miles north of here in Duarte. So the 300 million people around the world who use synthetic insulin was discovered and invented and manufactured at City of Hope. Because science can translate just not into cancer, but into other areas. We also manufactured, discovered, and created our own COVID vaccine during the pandemic, and then later licensed it out when there was a shortage. So this is the kind of innovation that City of Hope brings. And we're honored to be down in Orange County because 3.2 million people live in Orange County, and we wanted to bring specialized cancer care. So the American Cancer Society, for the last 3 years now, has reported statistics. And we know that age is the #1 risk factor. So I'm sorry, the older you get, your chances of getting cancer are higher. It just happens that way. There's risks and benefits. But what's alarming is the highest increase in cancer that exists now is people under the age of 50. And if you don't believe that, just come to our third floor clinic any day of the week, and you will see late 20s, 30s, 40-year-olds all battling stage 4 cancer. It is very, very disturbing. And the problem is that screening and prevention guidelines start when you're 45. So we're missing this whole group. And that's why it's incumbent upon us, academic centers like City of Hope, who can actually do research and put research in front of people. We're doing pancreatic cancer screening. We're doing stomach cancer screening. We're going to open a thyroid cancer screening protocol. These are areas there's no guidelines. There's no standard of care. And what we challenge our experts every day is to not be satisfied with the standard of care, but to reimagine, redefine the standard, and keep pushing it higher and higher. And one day, my dream is that this hospital, this beautiful hospital we've built in Orange County, will become a health museum because we've cured cancer. And that would be wonderful. Have it free to the public, have people come in. So we've done this. We've activated the hospital. It has occurred. Here it is. So underneath this one roof, there's 2 buildings, an outpatient building and an inpatient building, which we opened in December. We have more than 100 cancer-specific physicians. There's no other place on the West Coast that has 100 cancer-specific physicians under one roof. Not UCLA, not USC, not UCI. They have cancer programs, and they're great cancer programs, don't get me wrong. But we are only one of 5 hospitals in the country that just focuses on cancer. So if you need to deliver a baby, we're not the place. I mean, I did it in medical school and residency, but not, you don't want now. If you need your hip fixed, we're not the place. But if you are anxious about cancer, are undergoing a diagnosis or a workup, if you're being treated, if the therapy failed that you started with, we're the place you need to be because we have that depth of expertise. And so we're very busy right now, I would say, unfortunately. We offer a huge number of subspecialties. I still remember in February, March, and I know, Fred, you have talked about this. That's when we chatted in 2024. I leave myself open to anyone who needs help. Look, if you can't come to City of Hope, we'll at least help you or verify what you're doing and make sure it's the right thing, because this whole cancer journey is so important, and you're hearing about breakthroughs, but you got to start correctly. It's worse to start with the wrong type of therapy and try to fix it later. That's hard. Think of home repair. Think of anything, any subject. When you have to try and fix something that wasn't done the first time around, that's the biggest issue. So just know that we're here for you. We want to be that. One of my other jobs, I guess City of Hope didn't think I was busy enough opening this hospital and recruiting 110 physicians, was that I oversee the entire clinical research at City of Hope. And that means we have sites not only in Southern California, but Chicago, Atlanta, and Phoenix. We are a national system over 4 states. We are within 90 minutes of 86 million lives. And we are the only academic system in the country that can deploy clinical trials simultaneously across any one of these sites in any one of these states. Now, how important are clinical trials? You all have been watching the news recently in the last 2 weeks. Pancreatic cancer is finally being talked about in a somewhat positive light. And the reason is because for years, once you took therapy for incurable pancreatic cancer, the therapies after that were terrible. The survivals were 6 months or less. This new pill that just got released, it's not FDA approved yet, but we are going to have it offered pretty soon, doubles the survival to 13 months. Now, 13 months doesn't sound, but remember, medians, half the people live longer, half the people live shorter. So we're thinking that we're now on the cusp of a breakthrough, and we had that study open and offered that to our patients at City of Hope. So this is the opportunity, this is what we want to deliver to you, and this is what we feel is our obligation. So, I'll leave cards with Fred. He can be the guy that, will pass them out to whoever, but he has my contact, he's got my cell phone. Anyone who needs help, we're always here to help you, any one of our staff. And that's what we're here in this community for. So again, I thank you very much for your attention today, and it's our pleasure to be part of your community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. We're very fortunate to have your leadership in this arena right here in Southern California. And I think I can speak for everyone in this room. We certainly hope you realize your dream. Thank you again. Our next guest speaker is David Falk, founder, head brewer, and distiller of Fullerton-based Nasung Sewell Company. A Fullerton resident, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and engineer by training, David has built a unique business dedicated to preserving and sharing the traditions of Korean brewing and distilling. Through his work, he has helped strengthen Fullerton's growing craft food and beverage community while celebrating cultural heritage and entrepreneurship. Please join me in welcoming David Falk.
Man, I don't know how to follow that one. Hopefully this is interesting for everyone. So hey everyone, I'm David Falk. I'm the founder, head brewer, and head distiller at Nasung Sewell Co. They wanted to give me 4 titles, but I was like, 3 is good enough. So we're located on the east end of Wilshire in downtown Fullerton, and we specialize in sur, which is a traditional Korean alcohol like makgeolli, which is a cloudy rice wine. And most people don't know about it because we always get asked if it's sake. So it's not, it's its own type of rice wine, and we make its more famous distilled cousin called soju. So we make that all in-house, soju. If you take that soju and you barrel age it, you get a type of whiskey, which we also make. And then you take that soju and you infuse it with juniper and botanicals, and you get gin, which is also something we make. I would hope everyone knows what soju is, but if you don't, it's like vodka, but only with better sales. Yeah. And actually, that's a question I ask everyone: is what is the world's best-selling liquor? Right? Is it a vodka? Is it a whiskey? Is it American? Is it European? And it's actually no. It's a Korean brand called Jinro. And in 2025 alone, they made 230 million gallons of soju, which equated to $1.8 million of sales in 1 year. And that's just the top brand in that category. The other brands, they don't do too shabby either, right? So I only mention this to give everyone a perspective as to the category that we are in, and in a way that everyone understands in dollars. So our appeal is not only in Fullerton, but to the other neighboring cities that bring people into Fullerton. We get a lot of traffic from our friends and neighbors. So while we specialize in sur, what we actually specialize is offering a traditional, small batch, high quality, exclusive version of it that's very different from what's found on the market. So we're showing traditional Korean pride, but also emphasizing a happy blend of cultural identities. And I'm half white, half Korean, so my white dad would say that I'm a happy blend of cultural identities. So we are also, as of today, the only, and I repeat, the only coast-to-coast house of sur in the entire US. This doesn't exist anywhere else. So that means we make the wine and the distilled spirits under one roof. That's rice wine, soju, whiskey, gin, all here in the city of Fullerton, right? We are creating this unique destination in Fullerton for Fullerton, and that was very important for me. That's why I was very excited to be asked to come here. I love this city, and this opportunity is very big for me, so I'm glad to be talking to all of you. I was born in Korea to a military dad, and we moved around a lot. So outside of maybe 29 Palms, right, shout out Joshua Tree, I never really put any roots down until I arrived here in Fullerton. I live here. My kids started kindergarten here. They go to the community center for gymnastics. We use the Janet Evans Swim Center. Summers are at the Boys and Girls Club and Camp Hillcrest. We use the parks, the splash pads, soccer at Baston Cherry Park, flag football at the sports complex. My daughter was born at St. Jude. We have bought way too much fruit at the farmer's market on Thursdays. I've lost way too many golf balls at Coyote Hills. And my wife and I have celebrated multiple anniversaries right here at Summit House. So this city, this community, are all the things that I think of when I think of home. And it will be all of the things that my kids think of when they think of home. Their childhood, their friends, all here, growing up, this is home. So whatever I can do to strengthen Fullerton, sign me up. And that's exactly what we are doing by making Fullerton our headquarters. We have created a truly unique destination here that not only bolsters Fullerton's economy, but is looking to grow and become a jewel in the crown of this community's identity. So shout out to the city that has been very helpful to us from those working at planning and zoning, the building department, Parks and Rec. They have made all of this and everything we do possible. We see this as having massive growth potential. Urgency is in our DNA, and awareness in our tasting room is spreading organically through positive reception, and we are creating, again, something truly unique that will not only bring people to Fullerton from cities away, but create a star on a map that will bring people from states and countries away. So we are getting a lot of guests that have heard about us and are making the trek far and wide to see what we are doing and how we are doing it. This isn't just another brewery or distillery. We have created a category-defining destination within a community that is also embracing it. We're lean, entirely self-funded, so our service and craft have been our best marketing tools. With the right support, there is nothing stopping this from associations akin to Jack Daniel's in Tennessee, bourbon in Kentucky, Scotch in Scotland. We are identity defining, and our roots are here in Fullerton. So that being said, thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Falk. We certainly appreciate that you chose Fullerton to start this endeavor, and apparently I have a new spirit that I need to do some extensive research on. All right, it is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Stephen Bean, Orange County Superintendent of Schools. With nearly 3 decades of experience in education, Dr. Bean leads the Orange County Department of Education, supporting more than 500,000 students across the county. Drawing from his own experiences as an English learner and student with a disability, he is a passionate advocate for ensuring every student has the opportunity to succeed. His leadership is grounded in collaboration, service, and a commitment to helping all learners reach their full potential. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Stephen Bean.
Good afternoon. First of all, remind me I do not have to work out tonight because that rap was good enough workout. So I think I've done with my workout for today. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I know you guys have been sitting here for a little bit, so what I'd like to do is actually, I'm going to call out certain individuals. I want you to stand and stretch a little bit, okay? So first, if you work in business, for-profit business, stand up so we can give you a round of applause. That should be many of us. Stand up. Now, if you work in nonprofits, not 501c3s, etc., stand up and remain standing. And if you work in education, stand up. Higher ed and K through 12. And if you work in the public sector, stand up. And then, of course, everybody else, you can stand up too. All right, you may have a seat. I'm trying to work this, it's kind of delayed. Oh, here we go. All right. The reason why I had you stand up is this. You give our community hope. Look at every single one of you in this room. Because of your leadership in our community, you give the students who face so much adversity across our county hope. Why? Because when leaders invest in our students, they invest in our communities. And you may not know that you actually do impact students every day in the work that you do. And you help them overcome. Just as we were saying, we have about 500,000 students across Orange County, but many of them face adversities. And we talked a little bit about adversities today with the previous two speakers. But it is because of leaders like you, our students can overcome. And when they overcome, they can do amazing things. So let me share a little bit about how others have lifted me through the adversity and challenges that I faced. In 1971, I was born during the Vietnam War in a little town called Saigon. And war has such a devastating impact on the community, doesn't it? It displaces people. It was so devastating that even the healthcare system that we just heard about, the healthcare system was dismantled. So much so this polio vaccination that was available globally was only available to about 50% of the population. They would literally line up babies and give every other child a polio vaccination. Well, I tell people every day that I was blessed to be skipped. So I didn't get the polio vaccination. Instead, I contracted polio, which then left me paralyzed from the waist down. It left me with a very weak diaphragm, so I couldn't cough. I couldn't talk very well, so I had walking pneumonia every day as a child. I had severe scoliosis, curvature of the spine that caused me to lean about 40 degrees. That was the result of polio and not getting that vaccination. So at the age of 2, my parents could not care for me, so they literally abandoned me on the streets of Saigon. And then an orphanage took me in. And this orphanage cared for me for 2 years, the best they could. Didn't have much money to care for the children, so I remember dragging around. I remember seeing the devastation of war as a 4-year-old. But I would go to this little courtyard in the center of the orphanage, a grass courtyard that looks just like this. And I would go there to listen to the rain. And I discovered the reason why I did that was because during the rain, there was less bombs dropping around the village. And so I realized it was a sense of peace in a very tumultuous time. By the way, I'm an educator, okay? There's a lot of educators in here. I'm going to give you a spelling test. On the upper right are these little letters. And they're going to spell something at the end. And I'm a pretty tough grader, so pay attention, all right? So this first skill, this leadership skill that I've learned throughout the 3 decades of education is this idea that we must stop to listen and learn from one another. Look at how diverse this room is. Orange County is a microcosm of all of California. Did you know we have 96 languages in Orange County? 50% Latino population, a little over 20% Asian population, a little over 20% white. All kinds of ethnicities here in Orange County. And yet, I heard it earlier, we must all come to the table to listen to one another because we have different backgrounds and experiences. And when we do that, we honor each other's voices. And so even as a 4-year-old, I would go there just to listen. And it's a great reminder for us as adults to stop and listen and learn. So April 6, 1975, President Ford executed Operation Baby Lift. Anybody heard of this operation, Operation Baby Lift? A few of you. Operation Baby Lift was this military operation in partnership with social services, adoption agencies, all kinds of different agencies to airlift 3,000 Vietnamese orphans to then fly out and be placed in foster homes or adopted. And so April 6, 1975, it was executed. By the way, I'm giving Fred a heart attack because he's looking at me about to fall off the stage. I promise, Fred, I'm not going to fall off the stage, all right? I hope you have good liability insurance, though. And so, literally, a day before Saigon was to fall, the staff rushed to get these babies on these planes. And so here, you can see here in the middle picture, what they would literally do is strap these babies in these boxes, put seatbelts over them, and hope they would survive this long flight to a new country. And there I am, that little handsome kid on the left right there in the orphanage. And it was so chaotic that day that they're rushing to get these babies on these black buses, and I can remember this clearly, black buses to go across the dirt field to get on these planes. My records and my braces, the only thing I possessed was on the first flight out, and it was so chaotic, they mixed me up and put me on another flight out. But that first flight that took off, within 20 minutes, it crashed. Over 150 people died that day, including 93 Vietnamese orphans. And I was supposed to be on that flight. But as fate would have it, I would say I was saved by God to come to the United States safely. And then I would meet the Beans. The Beans were incredible people. And I want to spend some time to tell you a little bit about the Beans. So Judy Bean is sitting in the middle, and she reminded all of us, the Bean kids, to have love and compassion for the most vulnerable in our community. So much so that she and Greg took in over 100 foster kids during the time that I was there. And many of those foster kids had disabilities or were abused. And so as you can see, Jasmine is sitting on her lap, has cerebral palsy. I have 3 black sisters, 2 Latino brothers. I have a set of twin brothers that are autistic. And these are the kinds of kids that my mother made sure that we would advocate for and be a voice for and lead for. And then my dad, Greg, he has that cool 70s, 80s mustache, right? He had that his whole life I was there. He said, Stephen, you must prioritize education because education will unlock the potential in you. And then he said something more profound. He said, Stephen, prioritize education because through you, it will unlock the potential in others. He told me that as a young child. How did he know that I was going to become the Orange County Superintendent of Schools, responsible for almost 500,000 kids, to unlock the potential in them? Yeah. And so, like I said, my parents taught me the value of loving the most vulnerable and prioritizing education. Well, I didn't listen to my dad very much. I got in trouble a lot in school. So in kindergarten through 5th grade, I didn't do very well. As you can imagine, I was learning a new language, right? I was often pulled out of the classroom for OT, PT, speech therapy, and I had 5 major surgeries before the age of 10. I'll tell you about one. One was at the age of 10, it was a spinal cord fusion to straighten my spinal cord because they didn't want me to walking like this for the rest of my life, so they cut down my back They straightened my spinal cord, put 2 rods, and then tied the rods to the spinal cord. And so that's why I have this, I sit up straight. You know, it's funny because when I roll into a room, people go, wow, Dr. Bean is really confident. Look at his posture. Well, little do they know I got 2 rods in my back, right? But that surgery alone kept me out of the classroom for 9 months because I had to have a body cast from neck to ankle for 9 months, and I could only lay on my back or my stomach that entire time as a 10-year-old. So I didn't do very well. Until one individual. And I want you to reflect back on your own life for a moment. Think about that one person, that one teacher, that one mentor who may have whispered something in your ear or said something out loud to you that would change the trajectory of your life. And that was Mr. Geisinger. So I entered his classroom in 6th grade, right after I got my body cast off. He was observing me for about 4 weeks. And he pulled me aside one day and he said, Stephen, I don't care the fact that you're in a wheelchair. I don't care the fact that you're just barely speaking English or that you've missed a lot of school because of all your surgeries. What I do care for, Stephen, is that you have this gift. And I just sat there looking at him. Yeah, what's that, Mr. G? You have this gift of gab. He said, you like to talk a lot in my classroom. I said, that is true, Mr. Geisinger. And he said, so because you have this gift of gab, you're only going to give oral presentations this entire year. Only speak what you learn. Now, I like to interact with my audience, so tell me, what do you think that did with me? What do you think that did for me? It built confidence. What else? Better English. Yes, exactly. It developed my language skills. What else did it do? It helped me to what? Read the room, understand, and get a sense around me. And by the way, did you know this research shows that we only learn 10% of what we hear and see. That means when you leave me today, you're only going to remember 10% of what I say. And that's okay. But we actually retain and remember 70% of what we teach. That is why we have a lot of smart teachers on Jeopardy. Because every day they teach. They teach content. So Mr. Geisinger knew exactly what he was doing. He was inspiring potential in me. He was calling out this gift that I had yet to see in myself, this gift of communication. And so because of that, I developed my confidence, developed my speaking skills, could read the room, and finally a moment came where I had this opportunity to do exactly what my mom wanted me to do, and that was be an advocate. So I was asked to speak. I just blinded somebody with a laser pointer. Sorry about that. I was asked to speak in front of 15,000 people in Washington, D.C., where Martin Luther King stood on those steps of the Lincoln Memorial overlooking the lawn in front of 15,000 people. Oh, at the age of 10. I was able to speak and be, okay, I exaggerated. It was age of 14. My bad. I had 10 was when I had surgery. At the age of 14, with my cool 80s glasses, which, by the way, I'm still looking for. I hear they're back in trend, so let me know. My cool 80s glasses, I got to foster authenticity by being real with the participants there and advocating for people with disabilities. I got to share things like, you know what? Come close to me. It's okay. Pat me on the back. Give me a hug. I'm not going to break. I was mainly talking to girls, right? Or I got to share things like, I wonder if I'm going to find someone who will love me for who I am to see past my disability. Or I wonder if I'm going to be able to have a family because my doctors told me and my parents, Stephen won't be able to have kids. So I got to be authentic. And so in leadership, in the work that you do, you know that people will follow you when you're real with them, when you're authentic with them. No one wants to follow a fake, right? And so even in our leadership, when we lead our counties in the ways and the roles that you play, be real, foster authenticity. If something is tough, if something is challenging, model it for our kids that it's okay to talk about it. That is fostering authenticity. So I remember when I was done, I hopped down the steps in my crutches and sat down on my chair. And when I looked up, I see this rousing standing ovation from 15,000 people. And it was at that moment Mr. Geisinger inspired potential in me. It was at that moment that I was able to speak for those who had challenges much like me. And we all have challenges in different ways, don't we? And so, foster authenticity. From there, as you can imagine, I was able to get straight A's and then attend USC. Any Trojans in here? Oh, you guys, be brave. There we go. Right on. Right on. Went to USC to get my undergraduate in entrepreneurship program. And then I went to LMU. Any Lions? There we go. And now, now watch, it's going to be very loud. Then I went to Cal State Fullerton to get my doctorate. Dr. Roshan, by the way, is here today. Let's give him a big round of applause. President of Cal State University Fullerton. Thank you for coming today. I was honored to get my doctorate degree there. Oh, by the way, do you want to know why I got my doctorate degree? Okay, so I was really tired of people mistaking me and comparing me to that British comedian, Mr. Bean. So I needed to change it to Dr. Bean, okay? All right. Now listen, as I reflect back of these accomplishments, I don't think there was any greater than meeting this woman here, Janet. So I met Janet at USC. Her family were immigrants from the Azores, the little islands off Portugal. They came, they started a small farm, milked cows every day, grew alfalfa. By the way, did you guys know alfalfa? I didn't know this. Alfalfa is actually the hay that our horses and cows eat. Who knew? It was like a beautiful, beautiful field, okay? And she shared with me the same values that I grew up with, and that is, if we're going to overcome the adversities and challenges that we face, we must prioritize people. Love and compassion for people. Have faith in our community. Have belief in our community. And then prioritize education. And that's exactly what Janet did. That's what she did at USC. So much so that I asked her out 3 times at USC, and she said no all 3 times. And I said, Janet, why did you say no? She goes, because I was there to learn more about God and to get a college degree, and I had no room for you, Stephan. All right, fair enough. So, but guys will appreciate this. We have to be persistent sometimes, right? So 5 years later, we were invited by a mutual friend to attend his wedding. Matt put us in the same table. Very smart guy. Because what happens at weddings, guys? What happens at weddings? Emotions, magic, right? So all the chemistry started to fly that evening. We had a great conversation. We rekindled the chemistry, and Janet gave me the first kiss that night. That's a picture of us salsa dancing. We love salsa dancing, Janet and I. So she gave me the first kiss. But I want to tell you about the first date. So a week later, we decided we're going to meet halfway between where she lived, which is Hanford Lemoore, and where I lived in Orange County. So we met in beautiful city of Bakersfield. Why am I getting a bunch of laughs, by the way? If you're from Bakersfield, forgive the audience, okay? So, beautiful city of Bakersfield. But you know what? Bakersfield has this gorgeous river. It's called the Kern River. Anybody been there? Okay, what is the Kern River like, you guys? Describe it. What? Deathly. Did you say deathly? Deadly. Deadly. Strong. Deep. So strong that you could wrap it. I mean, you could, what do you call that? Yeah, exactly. Listen, every year people die in this river. Okay? So here are two, what we think is well-educated people. They're going to have their first date next to the most dangerous river in California. So we decide we meet there. We lay down the picnic blanket. I hop out of my chair. We're enjoying our afternoon picnic that she made. And then we get distracted. It is an adult crowd, so you can use your own imagination, okay, how we got distracted. And then all of a sudden, I hear this noise, and it's my wheelchair. There's a crack, and it starts rolling down the bank, and it goes right into the water. And I am sitting there looking at this, and it's a flash so fast, and I'm literally and figuratively paralyzed right now. Like, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden, in the right corner of my eye, there is Janet. She stands up. She runs down that bank, and she jumps into the water to get that chair. The water is this deep. She reaches down, she lifts it up out of the water, and brings it up to me. What do you guys think I'm thinking at this time? She's a keeper. Marry that woman, right? Marry that woman. That was my mission. And so my mission was to, yes, pursue marriage with Janet. And so we dated for a whole year, but we had to have a conversation before I proposed to her. It was a difficult conversation, which was, Janet, my doctors told me I wouldn't be able to have kids. You know what Janet said? She looked me in the eye. She said, Stephan, it doesn't matter because I see the beauty in adoption as the example of your parents. You knew she was the one. Thank you. She was the one. But you know, sometimes doctors are wrong. By the way, did the doctor from City of Hope leave? All right, well, sometimes they're wrong because between 2002 and 2010, Janet and I were able to have our very own bean sprouts. 4 beautiful, wait, there we go, 4 beautiful bean sprouts. There we go. Bean sprout number 1, Sophia is on top. She's 23 now. This is about 12 years ago. Amelia with the glasses. She's 21, going to USD Law School in the fall. And then Sam, born on the 4th of July. So we named him after Uncle Sam. And I give him fireworks every year, by the way. I'm a cool dad. I give him fireworks every year. And then Gabriella, my youngest, sweet, sweet kid, 15-year-old at Los Alamitos High School. We were able to do that because Janet looked past the scars. We got married in 2000, and then we had kids in 2002. Leaders, look past the scars of people, both their emotional and physical scars. I have literally 12 scars across my body. And the emotional scars that came from Vietnam. And Janet loved me past that. So our kids are broken, and we must support and help them. So we raise our families with the priorities love, education, and hope. Because we knew that if we raised our kids with hope, they could overcome whatever challenges they faced. And I want you to remember that real hope helps us overcome. It helps us get through those storms. And I want to tell you that storm came for us in 2014. So Janet started to experience migraine headaches. She went to the migraine clinic, didn't help. So she just happened to go to an optometrist. Optometrist looked in her eye, immediately pulled out a pad of paper and wrote MRI stat. Handed it to Janet and say, take this to the emergency room. So I met her there. They ran a bunch of tests, and they said, your doctors will call you with the results. I remember this so vividly. Right when we pulled in the driveway, I put the car in park, and she got that call. meet your doctor at the hospital. So as you can imagine, that's the longest ride of our lives. We went to the hospital. Our doctors then showed us these scans. So Janet had over 12 tumors in her brain. And it was discovered that it was metastatic breast cancer that had already advanced to the brain right away. When that happens, the life sentence is 6 months. So Janet was given 6 months to survive. But we had hope. We're people of faith. We prayed. And the next week, Janet came to me and said, Stephen, God answered our prayer. And I said, what do you mean? He said he's going to extend my life. And so our prayers were answered. Janet, who got the diagnosis in 2014, was able to survive and be a mom for our kids who are so young for 6 more beautiful years. And so Janet, although Janet gave me that first kiss, I gave her that last kiss November 24th, 2020. And she passed. But before she passed, before she lost her ability to speak, she asked me to promise her that I would take care of the kids. And it was a strange promise because, of course, as a single dad, I'm going to take them to church, grocery shopping, to the park, take care of their education. Of course, I'm going to take them on vacation. This is the most recent picture. We just went on a cruise. Of course, I'm going to do that as a single father. Of course, I'm going to empower them. I'm going to look at their strengths and empower them and put them in situations where they can achieve. Just like Sophia graduated USC. Amelia graduated at Berkeley, top of her class. I did not know that, by the way. They surprised me. Top of her class going to USD. Of course, I'm going to empower Sam, who just graduated from Los Al, straight ace. And then, of course, our Gabby. And I remind them, however difficult life may seem, there was always something you can do and succeed at. That's empowerment. But you know what? Jenna didn't mean my 4 kids. She meant any kids that I have the pleasure of serving. And that's almost 500,000 students in Orange County. So we as leaders must invest in our future of our county of Fullerton by developing our youth. And that's what I try to do as the Orange County Superintendent of Schools. That is what Steve McLaughlin does as your superintendent here. I know we have another superintendent that I just met. There we are. That is what Dr. Roshan does, is that we develop our kids. Why? Because they will one day replace us. They will replace us in the workforce. They will replace us in leadership. We must develop them. And you're here because of that. So thank you. Okay. Before you tell me what all those letters spell, I do want to share full circle moment. Speaking of developing, remember Mr. Geisinger? I asked him to come up 43 years later and swear me in as only the 12th county superintendent of schools since 1889. And yes, thank you. It is because of the Orange County Board of Education 2 years ago appointed me. So you can see your own native Fullerton La Habra person right there in the center, Tim Shaw. You can see his picture right there. There he is, Tim. So just remember, one compassionate person like Mr. G can transform a student's journey, opening doors to endless possibilities. What did all those letters spell? Lifted. So I'm going to end it with this story. In high school, I had classrooms on the 2nd floor. There was no elevator. And so I roll up every morning to the bottom of the steps, and there would be 4 of my friends waiting to lift me up those stairs every day to get to class. And I asked them one day, why did you do that? And they said, Stephen, we lifted you up those stairs not because we felt sorry for you or we pitied you because we did it, but we lifted you up those stairs so that you could get to where we're going. A very profound statement. I am challenging all of us when we leave together today to come alongside public safety, educators, businesses, nonprofits. Come alongside one another and lift our kids up over those hurdles. Because when you do, one day you may be lifting up the next plumber, astronaut to Mars, the next Elon Musk. Okay. Maybe the next electrician. Or who knows? Maybe even you may be lifting up the next Orange County Superintendent of Schools. Thank you very much. Thank you, Fred. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Bean, for that amazing story. Mayor Zhang is not the only person in the audience that was about ready to have a heart attack. I don't think I've ever had such a combination of inspiration and anxiety in my entire life. But I do appreciate everything you said, and I appreciate your example. Thank you so much. I am also a graduate of LaSalle High, so go Griffins. All right. We would now like to take a moment to reflect on some of the progress, accomplishments, and momentum shaping our community. This video highlights the people, projects, and partnerships that continue to move our city forward and demonstrates the sense of urgency that is driving Fullerton's future. So please direct your attention to the video screen for the 2026 State of the City video.
Here in Fullerton, we're focused on building a strong, well-rounded community where residents, businesses, and visitors can thrive. As our city continues to grow and evolve, we are working to ensure Fullerton remains a great place to live, work, and invest in. Over the past year, our Community and Economic Development Department has made great strides to improve how Fullerton does business. We officially launched the Easy Dev portal, providing residents, contractors, and businesses with a more accessible platform for building additions. This new tool accelerates approvals at a time when efficiency and accessibility matter more than ever. Last fiscal year, the department completed more than 14,000 plan checks, with a total valuation for all projects submitted exceeding $85 million. As development opportunities continue to grow throughout the city, we're moving quickly to streamline processes and meet the needs of our community. Fullerton also continues to strengthen its role as a destination for film and entertainment production. Last year, the city welcomed a major Apple TV production that brought energy and economic activity to our community while showcasing Fullerton's unique character. Fullerton's local dining scene continues to grow and evolve, with numerous new restaurants and eateries opening throughout the city. Highlights among these additions include Dunkin' and Einstein Brothers Bagels, the first Lotteria in the United States, Kick and Crab, and Bari Pizza, adding even more variety and options for residents and visitors to enjoy. As Fullerton experiences growth with more residents and visitors, public safety remains at the forefront. Our fire department will be launching a cadet recruitment program this fall to bolster our in-house first aid and fire response. In addition, we recently celebrated 13 dedicated Fullerton Fire Department firefighter trainees who officially completed their intensive 6-week academy and proudly received their station assignments, strengthening our department's ability to serve and protect the community. As Fullerton continues to grow, our police department is proactively expanding to stay ahead of demand and ensure our neighborhoods remain safe and supported. By adding an officer to the mounted unit, we're increasing safety by patrolling the trails and parks that run throughout the city. Fullerton PD's resumed partnership with On Patrol Live also promotes community awareness and safety. K9 Kilo, Fullerton PD's newest narcotics detection dog, was named by our community through a social media vote and is already putting his nose to work, helping keep illegal drugs off our streets. Our Parks and Recreation team has completed numerous projects to enhance our parks and green spaces, most notably the Emery Park Remodel Project. The scope of work for this 8.2-acre neighborhood park included installing new sidewalks and walkways, adding its first picnic tables with accessible seating, and providing new park amenities, beautiful landscaping, and ADA accessible parking with ramps. Work at Union Pacific Park was also completed within the last year, which included new picnic tables, cleaned up recreation trails, and a complete overhaul of the picnic areas for a more pleasant park experience. Our transportation center recently underwent a beautiful transformation. With new branding and wayfinding, local artwork, and enhanced accessibility, it is now a modern space that commuters and travelers can truly enjoy. Getting around the city has never been easier. Thanks to the hard work of our Public Works team, this year drivers will start to experience smoother roadways along State College Boulevard, Raymond Avenue, Harbor Boulevard, and the Palm Street area. The revitalization of our streets will continue with major improvements in the near future at the Nutwood Active Transportation Area, the Maplewood area, and the Rancho Verona Yucca area to keep pace with the needs of our growing community. In 2025, the city advanced innovative upgrades through the Solar Street Lights project, enhancing public spaces with energy-efficient lighting solutions that support sustainability, improve visibility, and help create safer streets for our community. And in 2026, even more improvements are on the horizon as we continue investing in projects that strengthen connectivity, sustainability, and quality of life throughout our city. From education and business to the beauty of our neighborhoods, through strategic planning, strengthened public safety, and expanded opportunities to connect, we are moving forward with a sense of urgency to meet the needs of today while building an even brighter future for tomorrow. Together, we are taking action now to ensure Fullerton continues to thrive for generations to come.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor and privilege to introduce Mayor Fred Jung.
You know, imagine, if you will, you're on the Dodgers, and you are batting cleanup to Shohei Ohtani, remarkable, to Max Muncy, to Andy Pages, and instead of being a Dodger, you're me. It's wild. This is going to be, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest letdown ever of a state of a city. Listen, these are remarkably dear people to me. These three men, they are remarkable. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Again, to be the closer behind these three remarkable men, all more accomplished human beings than I, is tough. In fact, there's a part of me that contemplated not doing a State of the City at all. Certainly there were discussions, certainly there were. You know, I stand before you today, one of those men helped save my life because of my continued dedication to the city, to those who call it home, to others who operate businesses here, and to the hundreds of employees who work here. It is not lost on me that for some, I may not be your champion. Certainly, recent election results are soul-crushingly poor, so that would validate that point, and that's all fair. My hope is that you see the message despite the messenger. The City of Fullerton will face significant budgetary challenges Over the next few years, you can expect robust public engagement from our city staff and our city council over the next few months. The city's no stranger to budget constraints. Indeed, the city has experienced financial troubles since before OJ had isotoners. But this feels different because it is. It is unprecedented in Fullerton's long storied history to have to overcome these kinds of shortfalls. We will need to do drastically different things to tackle the problem. It will require diligence and discipline, I'm certain. For those challenges in mind, there is a sense of urgency. In business and in government, urgency can be a useful mindset, I suppose, but it should be a critical operating system. It can be the difference between reacting to change and leading within it. It's the force that turns ideas into reality, keeps the skeptics and pessimists at bay. However, a sense of urgency should never be speed for its own sake, because it shouldn't be reckless, panic-inducing, or cutting corners. True urgency is focused, disciplined energy. It is the understanding that time is a resource, more often than not, the most valuable one. Things that we can ill afford to waste. Every day we wait as a city government. Competitor cities advance, small businesses fall further behind, and the cost of inaction can grow. In business, urgency has become an engine to innovation, and it should be that way in government as well. The market doesn't wait, city commerce should not either. A city that moves slowly is a municipality that gives its opportunities away. The organizations that thrive are the ones that move with purpose. And in government, urgency carries even greater weight because the stakes are public. A delayed decision can mean a business does not get the help it needs, or the community does not experience necessary improvements. A stalled project can mean neighborhood goes another year without investment. And then when public institutions move slowly, or worse yet, don't move at all, the public loses faith in government. So we cannot afford complacency, especially now. The challenges we face are too interconnected for half-hearted action or half measures. The truth is, urgency can be our culture here. It can start with individuals, but must be shared across departments and become the guiding principle within our city. What can we do today? Ask, what obstacles can we remove right now? Success, real meaningful success, belongs to those who understand that time is not neutral. Time either works for us or against us. Urgency requires courage. Now, I don't dare to pretend I have all the answers. Certainly, I have a healthy amount of skeptics, and I brand some skepticisms to those who do have all the answers. But I encourage you all to try and make decisions without that fear, because if you're willing to risk bad decisions, you might actually make some good ones in the process. More often than not, we fail because we tried to do something and did not succeed, or we simply were unable to accomplish what we had hoped for. But I'm in the camp that I would much rather fail than not try at all. That said, there are those who will find fault in your work. They will see your worst moments, but have a high enough opinion of yourself and your work to continue pressing forward. If your critics find you unworthy of praise, so often more than not, it does say more about their own self-worth than it does about your own. Many people who possess greatness are timid because standing out invites criticism. Being noticed places perhaps a target on your back. Certainly I have my share, and that's fair. I have to admit to you today, though, experiencing it feels very different than watching it. As an observer, you may feel vindicated or disgusted, depending on whether you agree with me or disagree. But when you are living it, you become equally distracted by both. But that's the modern nature of public life. We live in a glass house for all to see. Anyone is welcome to press their face against that glass and comment on what's happening inside. But unless you are in the arena, full comprehension is not very clear to the observer. Every decision appears binary. It's either this or that, but reality is rarely that simple. Every decision we make often contains margins of error. Every challenges contain nuance. And most people should be allowed the space to make difficult decisions without facing immediate condemnation for every imperfection. So today, I challenge all of you not to be governed by the least objectionable programming, the idea that everything must be crafted so everybody likes everyone. Try to bring your best every day. Avoid being lazy, bored, or sloppy, because the little things are going to mean so much more now. A smile, even when it hurts to do so, can be priceless. Likewise, what people endure these days becomes intolerable. It is true that humanity can be oftentimes petty, cruel, and arbitrary. Certainly, I'm guilty of that. But it's equally true that the overwhelming majority of people are decent. Most of them are simply trying to do the best they can, often under extraordinarily difficult circumstances. And that truth is worth remembering. You know, there are artists in my life that were so gifted they were able to draw a perfect circle freehand. And then there was me having to take a coffee can in art class and trace around it. And even then, my circle came out slightly crooked. But perhaps there's a lesson in that perfection is overrated. Effort matters, persistence matters. So today, I call on you to set a standard. You can commit to being those who move with focus, act with purpose, and refuse to let bureaucracy, hesitation, or fear slow the work that truly matters to the residents and businesses that call Fullerton home. If we can create an environment where excellence is expected, service is elevated, people will believe in what local government can accomplish. And certainly the future belongs to the bold move with urgency, and the urgent move the world forward. With that, ladies and gentlemen, the state of our city is ever hopeful, and while hope is not a strategy, I warned you last year, and I come before you to repeat the message again. Don't bet against Fullerton, folks. It's a sucker's bet. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor Jung, for those words. I think you more than held your own in this lineup today. Maybe a Will Smith kind of vibe, but so thank you. This year, the city would like to recognize a local business that has made an outstanding contribution to our community through excellence, entrepreneurship, and a commitment to serving residents and visitors alike. Before we welcome them to the stage, we'd like to share a brief video highlighting their story, achievements, and impact on our community. Please again direct your attention to the screen for a special tribute to Consob DesiCraft Kitchen.
Hello everyone, my name is Imran Ali Mukhi. I'm an executive chef of Consob in Fullerton. I was born and raised in Pakistan, came to the United States at the age of 18, and since then trying to live an American dream life. Coming as an immigrant at a very young age without knowing anybody, ended up at a restaurant as a dishwasher, and from there building this and coming to a Michelin-rated restaurant. Challenges will be there, your job is to overcome with the challenges. The reason behind opening up a Consob restaurant, I've been working in the industry for 25 years, and me and my partner Iqbal, we both decided that a Pakistani community needed an elevated cuisine, and that's the reason we opened Consob to let people know who we are, what our customs are, what our heritage is. Our vision is to create something unique where people can enjoy and experience our halal fine dining Pakistani food in Fullerton. We are using, Australian Wagyu, tomahawks and steaks. We wanted to make people come and experience our food and enjoy while dining in Fullerton as well. During COVID, everybody was having a hard time, and it was our first month of opening in COVID, right? After 15 days, we had to shut down the restaurant. So we decided to come out and help the community, providing free meals to firefighters, to the first responders, and to the people who were living paycheck to paycheck. So we literally had a stall outside on Friday nights, and people would just drive by and grab food, whoever needed it. So that was our starting point to help community, giving back to the community. The rewarding part that I would say, it's the support of our community with the people, and getting to, know more people, diverse community, educating them about our culture, our heritage. We feel like that's a reward for us of putting all our effort in this business. So we get to know people on a different level as well. Thanks to the community that to put us and support us in a level where we were able to achieve our Michelin Bib Gourmand for 5 years in a row. I have a list of people, but there is one man, Iqbal, my partner, my business partner, my brother. Obviously, thanks to him for supporting me and supporting in our vision and letting me, take a charge on what we wanted to do and supporting me through the entire process until now. We just recently opened up our second branch in Hawaiian Garden in March. So that's our second one, and we're looking forward to expand more business. It is such an honor to be recognized by City of Fullerton, and it means a lot for us, for our team. And it's a feeling where it's hard to describe. We're thankful to the City of Fullerton for such a great honor for us. It means a lot to us. We love Fullerton. We are here. We are planning to stay here. Just want people to come and support us, and we are always there to support our community as well.
Please join me in congratulating Consab Desi Craft Kitchen on this well-deserved recognition. I do want to thank you for your contribution to our community, and food looks delicious. At this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Fred Jung back to the stage to share a few remarks and present the City of Fullerton's 2026 Business Recognition Award.
Please come on. Consab, I remember going there. It's been a handful of years. And I was remarkably impressed with just the food. I'm going to get away from the script for a moment. And then when I learned what you were doing during COVID, I was heartbroken that you were always trying to do more, and just resource-wise, you couldn't. And yet you continued your efforts. And as a result of all things, I'm no foodie by any stretch of the imagination, but Michelin recognition to our city. And I was stunned, but not in the manner in which you think, because the food is amazing and certainly warrants that. But the fact that somebody from Michelin, I thought they were tires, and came to our city was fascinating to me. I want to thank all of you. On behalf of our entire community, we are so proud to have you here. It gives me great honor and pleasure to recognize you as the 2026 Distinguished Business Recognition Award. It is well deserved. I give you all of my time.
Hello everyone. This is such an honor. Thank you so much, City of Fullerton, for this award. It means a lot to us. We remember our opening days in Fullerton, from construction to the opening of the restaurant and hitting with the COVID. It was just like, a heartbroken process, but we stood together, and as a team, we all decided that, it's just a COVID time. We will make it happen. We will go through this, and we started our support, giving out free meals to the people in the community. And I remember we served about 15,000 meals throughout the whole COVID period. And it's just a blessing that we kept our focus with our food, with our vision, and ended up getting us a Michelin recognition for all the years that we've been here, since 2021 till 2025. We are planning to expand more, as we just opened our second location in March in Hawaiian Gardens. We have our third location that's opening tomorrow in Santa Monica. So we're looking forward to expand and keep Fullerton in our prayers as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude the 2026 State of the City Address. I would like to extend a special thank you to Gary Parkinson and the entire Summit House team for their outstanding hospitality and partnership in hosting today's event. Please give them a hand. I would also like to thank our tremendous speakers today, Dr. Edward Kim, David Falk, and Dr. Stephen Bean, for sharing their time and insights, as well as Mayor Fred Jung. I'd also like to thank the city staff that helped in setting up for today's event and all the hard work that went into that. Special thanks to Kim Chaudhry. And also a shout out to Nolan, who's been running around making sure that all the technology works today. Thank you. So in closing, I want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon and for your continued support for the City of Fullerton. We look forward to seeing you again next year.